It's Dr. Jamar Montgomery of drjamarmontgomery.com. Black people fight over being a Republican, a Democrat, a liberal, or conservative because we don't have an effective lobbying organization like AIPAC or the United Democracy Project. We don't have a country that we owe an allegiance to or have an allegiance to outside of the United States. We don't have anybody that's going to come and rescue us. So we end up choosing sides based upon who we feel is going to represent us best because we don't have a lobbying organization or a political organization that we all can unify behind. And it's been interesting hearing all this talk about Donald Trump because this whole issue has been about Donald Trump saying that Black people identify with him because of the persecution that he is going through. And frankly, I'm one of those people in that I relate to him in that sense. And many people are having an issue with that. And what it is that Black men believe in fairness. We believe in fairness. And it's like if you can't beat me by the rules, if you can't beat me on the playing field, why are you going to all these other places to try to beat me? It's like in the Black community, one thing that we've always said has been you got to be twice as good to go half as far, right? And just when you start winning, then they decide to change the rules on you. Or the moment that you're doing what everybody else is doing, then it becomes an issue. And I'm one of those Black people that look at this situation with Donald Trump. That doesn't mean that he's not guilty or that he shouldn't be held accountable. What it is that I find it very funny that you're trying to demonize him in everywhere else outside of the election. What do I mean by that? If he is that bad of a person, if his policies aren't that good, then let him get beat at the ballot box. Let him get beat at the ballot box. All this other stuff, what does it have to do with him being president? Oh, is it because we think that he's a crook? Is it because we think that he'll lie? Is it that we think that he is a dishonorable person? Well, the presidency represents the majority of the people. That's the thing. He represents the majority opinion of the American people. And are we that afraid of the opinion of the American people? That there are millions of Americans who are of the opinion that Donald Trump is a better president than Joe Biden. Honestly speaking, I'm not looking forward to a Biden and Trump matchup. There are other options like RFK. He comes from a deeply political family. And what's funny is that many of the members of his family are putting their support behind Biden instead of him. That's crazy. You also have Dr. Cornel West, who has Dr. Melina Abdullah as his running mate. So there's other options. And it's crazy. If you can't beat him in the political sphere, it's like you're trying to beat him everywhere else. And I don't know, do we expect for our presidents to be human? Do we expect for our presidents to be relatable? Do we expect for our presidents to represent the best of us or what we aspire to be? And that has been the argument that I have always had with people, is that President Barack Obama represented what America aspired to be. He was that representation. Smart, calm, poised, quote unquote presidential. whereas Donald Trump represents what America actually is, and that's brash, unapologetic, and unafraid to utilize power. It's just very interesting when you have a political system that is at odds with each other. And it's at odds with each other on the lower level, right? But at the higher levels, do you think that the oil companies don't give money to the Democrats? You think that the only people that they give money to are Republicans? Do you think the pharmaceutical companies only give money to the Democrats and not the Republicans? The people who really run our political system, the wealthy people and the wealthy and large organizations, the main political donors, they're the people who run our actual political system. But they realize that conflict has to be marketed to the everyday person so that they end up choosing Democrat or Republican. The people at the top are basing, they don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. All they care about is, are you going to carry out their agenda? Are you going to advocate for the issues that they find important? Shoo! Bless me. So, I'm one of those people, like I said, that when you as a black man, you're trying to do well, and you watch how they change up the rules just to beat you because they can't beat you fair and square. I look at the Roland Martins of the world, where here it is he is black media, and the companies would much rather spend their money with ABC and all these large networks, but won't spend money with him, right? They'll find ways of discrediting him and things like that, instead of, dealing directly with him as a television media outlet. He may not get a big piece of the pie, but at least he's getting a piece of the pie, right? The way in which black men receive discrimination and are discriminated against, all because someone has negative thoughts about you, something that may not necessarily be true, something that they may forgive in others but will demonize you for. I think every black man feels that to some level when they encounter experiences where they're discriminated against because of the color of their skin. It just happens to be, in this particular case with Donald Trump, he's being discriminated against because of who he is. And once again, black men, they feel that you're discriminating against me because of who I am, because I'm different, because I don't talk the same, because I have a different ethos, because I have a different vision. And that's something that a lot of black men identify with. They won't say it publicly because in this world, people don't understand nuance, that I can understand and identify with something without supporting it. That's the thing. And that's how a lot of the political conversation, particularly in the news and in greater mainstream media, is that it lacks the nuance of, hey, I can understand something without agreeing with it. I can understand something and identify with something without agreeing with it. Or basically, I can throw the bathwater out and leave the baby. You ain't got to throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? I can reject the thing that isn't for me, that I don't identify with, and keep the things that I do. And just the demonization of who you are based upon your political beliefs, that is a major issue in America. And it's something, particularly in Black America, that I just think it's foolish, because once people stop arguing about whether or not you're a Democrat or a Republican, or if you're a liberal or conservative, the next thing that they're going to, if they get that together, uh, then it's going to be about whether or not what class or what race you are. And those trains are never late in America. Never late in America. So those are my thoughts. Dr. Jamar Montgomery here, drjamarmontgomery.com.